one of the first things he said was, "Did LA make you this way?" And I'm like,
wow.
After that, I kind of just went in and explained to him, "Dad, I can be in the biggest city in the world with the most population, or I can be in the smallest town with 1,000 people. I'm still gonna be me."
This episode is supported by Aura Frames. The people we love the most are usually the hardest to shop for, but luckily there's one gift that everyone on your list is sure to enjoy: an Aura digital picture frame. Named #1 by Wirecutter, Aura Frames make it so easy to share photos and videos directly from your phone right to your frame. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using the promo code MADEIT at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code MADEIT. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. The holiday season is right around the corner, and I know we're all looking for the perfect gift options. I feel like even for people who are really tough to shop for, you can't go wrong with body care. So Osea's limited edition Super Glow body set is the answer. Give the gift of glow this holiday season with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now we have a special discount just for our listeners. Get 10% off of your first order site-wide with code MADE at OseaMalibu.com. That's code MADE at OSEAMalibu.com. Hey y'all, welcome back to Made It Out. Today I'm here with a dear friend of mine, Prisma Pantoja, host of the Honey I'm Home podcast, and we're talking about her coming out and her journey to acceptance. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I feel very grateful.
Oh, we just, for everybody who hasn't watched, we shot with your girlfriend Talon.
Go watch.
Yes, go watch.
It was a really good episode.
I'm happy to have you here to get your side of kind of the story.
Yeah.
Can you first give us a little bit about who you are, where you come from?
Oh, where I come from. I'm Mexican, first and foremost. I grew up in a Catholic household, and I'm from a very, very small town in Kansas. I grew up in Kansas. 1,000 people, maybe 1,015, give or take. But
which, like, when you told me this, you said you have one high school in your town.
Yeah, my class probably was made up of like 15 kids. The entire class.
That is so. I can't even
fathom.
I can't fathom because the town I grew up in had 5 high schools.
Damn. No,
probably 1,000 people graduated in my class. So it's just like, that is such a small.
Yeah.
That makes me feel claustrophobic.
Well, looking back on it now, it was, but living in it, I had a great childhood. Like, everybody knew everybody. I was able to ride my bike up and down the street, go over to my friend's house. That wasn't an issue. Spend the night, things like that. It was great growing up. And then I moved from that small town to a little bit bigger, but still small town. 1 high school still, 2 junior highs, but a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Still wasn't like a city. So that's where I grew up.
What was it like growing up in Kansas? Like, what were the conversations around queerness? What was the culture like?
So very small-minded, I'll say that. And the conversations around queerness, it was non-existent. There really wasn't much talk at all. I don't remember hearing about gay people or that just wasn't a thing, no.
What about in your family?
There was like one comment that my dad had made. And my dad's a really good guy, but he's from a very small town, very cultured. He had made a comment about being gay, and it was derogatory towards a man that was straight, if that makes sense. But he was just saying it, to be derogatory, to be an asshole. But from then on, that's when I knew, oh, this isn't okay.
Yeah.
This is not what I can be, per se, and I knew that it was wrong at that point. That's at least what I was fed.
It's just like so ingrained, I think, into men. Like, I have such a great dad. My brother's so great, but they came from athlete culture. Sometimes I grew up around that too, where they'd be like, oh, that's gay,
There you go, yeah.
And they don't know, or they didn't know. Yeah,
and it was something he had said in Spanish, and I don't remember exactly, like, to who it was or what it pertained to, but I was old enough to kind of put 2 and 2 together and just know that the way he said it wasn't okay to be like that. And he meant it in like a harsh way. You know what I'm saying? So from then on, I kind of just knew, but. Yeah.
It's interesting though how that memory sticks out. So
it's a core memory for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think at that time you had any idea that you might be like?
Oh, I knew. Yeah, for sure. I definitely did. I think I've known, as far as I've had crushes on men, I've had crushes on women too. I think my first kiss was a girl, I was telling you.
Yeah.
And I remember when that happened, I believe I was in 5th grade. I don't remember thinking, oh, I'm kissing a girl. It was more like, oh, I'm having my first kiss, you know? And that to me signified like I didn't care. To me, it was, you know, either which way it goes, like that's just what I like. That's my preference, you know?
Yeah, it was like before the world like imprinted any shame or anything.
And then slowly after that came all of that, you know? And then that's when I was like, oh, it's not okay to be like this, you know?
Yeah, because then you're like hyper aware. You start to pick up on all the.
Of course, yeah. And I never got sat down and told that necessarily, but I picked it up, like you said. And then slowly after that, I was always going to CCD church, and they would talk about it, Catholic, you know, religion. So
yeah. So when did you start to like experiment, or I guess like follow the curiosity? And
yeah, that's a good way to put it. I was a senior in high school, and I remember talking to this girl, MySpace days, of course, get you into trouble every time. There was this girl on MySpace, and we had, you know, followed each other and gone back and forth. And that was my first time that I was like, oh, okay, this could be a thing. We kind of started dating. We started talking. I'll say talking. She was in Arizona at the time, and she had sent me a care package. I was in New Mexico. She had sent me a care package for the holidays. It was the day before New Year's, and I was at a basketball trip, and I came back home, and my mom picked me up, and she asked me who so-and-so was.
Oh, no.
I know. Heart dropped instantly, because she found the care package, and she found the note. She found, like, all the stuff that she had sent me, and obviously you can't deny that that's from a friend, you know what I mean? It's just not. So, yeah, I had, that was an intense night, for sure. And she kept pressing the issue. And I was like, well, I'm not going to talk to her anymore. Like, it's a done deal, yada, yada. And I was like, don't tell Dad. We get home. What does she do? She tells my dad.
What was their reaction?
Well, they were completely like thrown off guard, very confused. I don't know if angry is the word, because I didn't get yelled at. I think they were trying to understand it and get it. And then they just, I think, from their perspective, I would really love to like sit down and have a conversation with them. But I think from their perspective, they just thought that something was wrong with me, you know, because I ended up having to go to therapy afterwards. They took me to a priest. They also just didn't know, you know, they're from a really, really small town, and that's how they grew up. So they were.
Well, and the religious aspect.
That's another layer, you know. So I think they were just trying to figure it out and trying to do the best that they could, you know, with what they had. And yeah, it just didn't really help that it triggered me and traumatized me so bad that I wasn't able to open up and really like be vulnerable and be who I think I was. And also at the same time, I was trying to figure it out.
Of course.
I was trying to figure what was happening, you know? So that was also really hard on just myself, you know? So add that, and then my parents and family, you know? And then my friends weren't out like that. Like there was nobody around me that I could like really relate to.
Of course.
You know?
What did those therapy sessions look like?
I lied my way through them. It was like my first one was a family session. And then I had a solo session, and that was cool. You know, we just talked about childhood and just general stuff that I'm sure that therapists do. She had gave me a Bible verse, and it triggered something in me because it automatically connected verse to religion. And because my parents had just took me to a priest, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel safe anymore. I automatically feel judged, you know, and obviously she didn't mean to do that, you know, that weren't her intentions, but as being a kid, I didn't know that, you know, so it just triggered something in me. And after that, I just kind of like was like, yeah, just a phase, you know, just trying to get out of there.
Of course, you like walled off.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not telling you shit.
This episode is supported by Aura Frames. The people we love are usually the hardest to shop for. Luckily, there's one gift that everybody on your list is sure to enjoy: an Aura digital picture frame. Named #1 by Wirecutter, Aura frames make it incredibly easy to share unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to your frame. And when you give an Aura frame as a gift, you can personalize and preload it with a very thoughtful message and photos using the Aura app, making it an ideal present for all of your loved ones. We take thousands of pictures, and sometimes it's like, okay, what do I do with all of these? And the Aura frame is the perfect way to put them all on display and share them with your friends and family. I personally am going to get Matilda one and fill it with pictures of me. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling carver matte frames by using promo code MADEIT at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code MADEIT. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. The holiday season is right around the corner, and I know we're all looking for easy gifting options. I feel like even for the people who are really tough to shop for, you can't go wrong with body care. Osea's limited edition Super Glow body set is perfect. It includes 3 of Osea's best-selling body care products and is packed in a really pretty box, so you don't even have to wrap it. Osea's products are also vegan and cruelty-free, which I love, and come in sustainable packaging. I use the Super Glow body set on days that I take my everything showers, and it leaves my skin so soft and smelling amazing. The set includes a full-size Undaria algae body wash, a full-size Undaria algae body oil, and a travel-size hyaluronic body serum. Give the gift of glow this holiday season with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now we have a special discount just for our listeners. Get 10% off of your first order site-wide with code MADE at oseamalibu.com. There are some things in life that are okay to be a total crapshoot, like trying a new type of milk in your coffee, or a cheap Instagram ad impulse buy, or mixing it up with a new takeout spot. But finding the right doctor should not be a crapshoot. And with ZocDoc, it's not, because you've got more options than you know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. I recently used ZocDoc for a little rash that I had on my face, and it was so fast and so easy. I recommend it to everyone. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/made to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/made, ZocDoc.com/made. It's so interesting. Like, your parents truly did that because they love you.
Yeah.
And like, really probably thought like this is the best thing that we can do right now. But it's just so interesting, like the position that
put you in. Yeah.
To be so just like, I have nowhere I can turn. I have nowhere I can go to be safe.
Yeah.
What do you think that did to your discovery process of like who you are?
It definitely stunted it, because after that, I never really took women seriously. Yeah, it was more like very physical, and it was, and I never really connected with women emotionally like that. It wasn't until like years later that I was like, oh, I can really connect to a woman now, you know?
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think that it was just a fear of, if this is real, that means I have to take that back home. I have to accept it and then take it back home with me. And then that makes it real, you know? And I think for a while, I just didn't want to be that. I just, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm just starting to realize that that's what happened, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in those years, you were seriously dating men.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like hooking up
very
with women.
Very physical with women, yeah.
Interesting. So when did that kind of start to shift?
I met a girl in 2018, somewhere around there. And instant connection, instant like, okay, I fuck with you. There's feelings there. I knew it was going to be short-lived just because there was like a lot of toxic tendencies within that. But just the simple fact that it ended and my feelings were hurt. I knew, okay, I can go there with women and that's okay. You know, I met Talon within like the next 2 years after that, and literally the rest is history. I just let myself just, you know, and because Talon is just such a good person in general, and she's just so genuine, it was easy, you know, to like let my feelings just go and let it be what it was.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw long term with that. So
where did that leave you kind of in this struggle with your family? Mm-hmm. Were you completely hiding it from your family? Did they have no idea? Who knew about Talon? Like, what did your kind of world look like?
Yeah. I mean, here in LA, it's very easy to be myself, you know, and we're around a lot of supportive people. So I would say within the last 8 years of me being here, everybody knows. And especially when I got with Talon, everybody knew. Like, that was just, I couldn't hide that. You know what I mean? As far as family-wise, my sister I just told earlier this year, and by then we were already 2 years into dating. My parents were pretty much the only ones that, there was a cousin and my aunt, who's her mom. I told her, and she gave me like a completely safe space. Honestly, she saved a piece of me, I want to say. Aww. Yeah, she definitely was a rock in that situation. But my parents was just really like the burden that I was carrying.
So for a while, you basically were living kind of like a double
life. Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. And even just like as far as to like not go home for certain occasions because I felt like I didn't want to live that double life, or I didn't want to feel like I'm living a double life and being dishonest, or, you know, like not being able to share a piece of yourself will like crush your spirit. So
I did that for a while when I first, because I also moved away from home. I kind of discovered myself here, and then I allowed myself to explore it on my own and didn't tell my family. But it was like all of COVID, and my parents were like, why aren't you coming home? Like, what's going on? And I couldn't be like,
something's wrong,
because I have a girlfriend. And I'm like, you know, it was just this weird thing, but I like wouldn't call and I wouldn't really talk to them because it makes you kind of confront that you're being dishonest with them.
Yeah.
That's a hard
thing to live with.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to juggle.
For sure. Yeah.
How many years did you do that?
With Talon, 3 going on, or 3. It was 3.5, I want to say. Yeah.
And they knew Talon.
They knew Talon 2 years into us dating. Yeah. They had met Talon once. And that was cool. Like, I mean, she came as my friend, and we naturally are really good friends. So I like that they got to know her just as a person, you know? So that was cool. But yeah, 2 years, I want to say they met her.
And so they only met her one time when...
And then the second time... That's my girlfriend. Yeah. We went home, and that was that. They met her, and that was
very recent.
Yeah. It kind of just came a point where I was just like, okay, enough is enough. You know, I feel like I'm ready, and I'm just putting it off by saying, oh, I'm waiting for the right time. You know, I had to find that discernment to know there's never going to be a right time. I'm going to be in my next lifetime waiting for the right time, you know?
Yeah.
I just know I'm ready because I'm comfortable with who I am.
Yeah.
And that's all that I need. And knowing that my parents, regardless of anything, I just know who they are and what kind of people they are, and they're going to love me no matter what. It was just really the fear of letting them down, but I just can't carry that anymore, you know? And once I came to those terms, I was like, well, fuck it. You know, I have to be me. You know? But you have to get there at your own pace. Like, you can't rush that.
Do you think that being in a relationship that you're like, this is it?
Yeah.
Helped that process?
Yeah, because even being in a relationship, I feel like helped me heal a lot of things that I didn't even know I was triggered by. You know, there was a lot of moments where I'm like, dang, I didn't know I was going to react this way.
Interesting. Tell me more.
I think when we were first dating, we were probably like a couple months into dating, but you know, a couple months feels like a really long time with girls.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it just does. So we were a couple months in, and I went to the lake with my family, and Talon was back here in LA. And I remember, I don't know if I called her. I probably called her, and I had stepped outside to take the call. And my dad comes outside, and he's like, who you talk? Or I don't know if he said who you talking to or something. I don't know what it was exactly, but I remember, I don't know if I put the phone away or I said somebody else's name. I was talking to somebody else. I don't know, but I hid the fact that it was her. And I didn't even know I was going to do that. You know, I would have never in a million years thought that I would do that, you know? But I realized that it literally that moment took me back to my 16-year-old self.
Wow.
You know, and the moments of like getting questioned and them finding out and them, you know. So I realized that was a trauma that I had yet to really confront or face, you know. So my relationship with Talon forced me to face, you know, moments of that.
Yeah.
And I had to realize, okay, I got issues that I got to work through, you know?
Yeah. I think that is a really like, it's an interesting part of a safe relationship and like a really beautiful relationship that nobody really talks about is how hard it can be, because then it's like, okay, I have the room and the safety to now deal with all of these things that I haven't been dealing with. And it's such a great thing. But I feel like that's like when they say that relationships are work, like that really is the work, because it allows you to go so much deeper within yourself and like really nitpick at a lot of these like small triggers and traumas.
I agree. And it that moment really forced me to become so vulnerable and tell her, okay, this is why I did that. These are my issues. This is what I'm coming with. And, you know, we're either going to work through it or we're not. We're going to choose to do this or we're not. You know, what are we going to do? Where do we go from here? You know? So yeah, I had to face a lot of myself.
But it got you to the point where...
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that makes you so strong. And like, I think when you have this deep understanding, and I also think that this is why the queer community is like, there's such a camaraderie. Like you can walk into a room of gay people and you don't know anybody, but you're like, I see you and I understand you, because there's such a level of like deep work that we all have to do. And it's literally this, exactly what you're talking about, that just makes you so strong in who you are that you could stand up to, you know, your parents who don't accept you or whoever, you know, and be like, no, I'm okay with this, you know? And so it's such a beautiful thing, even though it's really hard and dark at times, it's such a beautiful thing that it got you to that point. Yeah,
I agree. And I definitely am blessed and I'm super grateful because of that. Because I mean, obviously without it, I wouldn't be here. You know, I might still not be out to my parents, you know, I don't know. But yeah, it definitely made me stronger. I feel like it made us stronger. It made our communication, you know, really have to work for it.
You and Talon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
How did it all happen? Tell me about the coming out.
Yeah, coming out, I didn't come out to my parents. I mean, I didn't come out to my parents. My sister came out for me. She came down for July 4th with my nephew, and she already knew about Talon and I, so she knew what she was getting herself into. And, you know, she loves Talon, and she loves me, so it was cool. We had a great time. She goes back home, and me and Talon are going back to Texas, to New Mexico/Texas for a wedding within that next week. So she goes home and she starts feeling guilt, right? And I think this is her trauma, because back then, and this will be interesting to talk to my parents about too, back then I know that she had a sense of guilt because she knew about this girl. And I would confide in her. She was really like the only person that I talked to. And my parents would go to her and ask her questions and try to get stuff out of her, you know, and they would put her in the middle. So she felt bad, you know. So I think that her trauma or triggers came during that moment. So when she went back home, she was like, hey, I feel really bad for mom and dad. You have to tell them, like, before you guys come. And I was like, I don't know how. Like, there's also a language barrier with my mom specifically that I literally don't have the words. So her and I would go kind of back and forth about it. And I'd be like, well, if you feel so bad, maybe you tell them. She was like, okay, I will. And she did. She told my mom first, and then they had their moment, you know. And one of the questions my mom asked was like, well, why didn't she tell me? Why didn't Prisma tell me? And Liz was kind of like, you see how hard it was for me to tell you. Like, imagine how hard it is for her to tell you, you know? And my mom got it right back tenfold, because when she tried to tell my dad, she couldn't. She had my sister go tell my dad.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was hard for her, you know, to talk about it. So they found out through my sister. And then the next day, I think I texted them and I said, I put them in a family group chat. And I reached out and I just said, hey guys, I know you guys know, I love you guys and you guys raised me and I'm still me. And I know you guys have questions. I might have answers. Let's have a conversation. I just want you guys to know that I'm still me and I have somebody in my life who I really, really love and care about and I see a future with, you know. And we got on a call the next day and we talked about it. And yeah, the one thing my dad did say was he wished he would have known sooner. So he would have more time to process me and Talon coming, you know.
Yeah, like specifically because you were going to this
and in 7
wedding.
days.
Yeah.
He said something, one of the first things that when we got on that call, one of the first things he said was, well, did LA make you this way? And I'm like,
wow.
No, Dad, like, trust me, no. I
You're like, wait,
I
remember
made LA this way. No. It was just like kind of ignorant and just very small-minded. I'll say that. Very small-minded thing to say. But I had to reel myself back in and, you know, tell myself he doesn't know any better, you know?
Yeah.
And after that, I kind of just went in and explained to him, Dad, I can be in the biggest city in the world with the most population, or I can be in the smallest town with 1,000 people. I'm still gonna be me, you know, through and through.
Everything has always been the same.
Yeah, like,
It's interesting how they caught you in high school.
Right. How are you so surprised now? It doesn't make any sense. Come on.
What was kind of the general tone or vibe of the conversation? Like, what did your mom? Sad.
My mom was really just in the background. She didn't talk at all. It was just me and my dad having dialogue, but she was listening to everything. But it was just, I think he was just like kind of disappointed, sad, trying to figure it out, lots of questions. He wasn't angry. He didn't yell at me or cuss me out or anything like that, which was, you know, a lot better than I know other people have gone through. So I feel for that. But that conversation, I think I said this earlier too, that conversation went as best as I could have asked for it to go, you know, and they just need time and patience and understanding. And I get that.
Yeah. Was it helpful to have your sister do that for you?
Yeah, for sure. Cause I still to this day wouldn't be able to put, like, do I say it in Spanish? Do I say it in English? And then if I say it in Spanish, what do I say? You know, it was just, it was a lot in my head. And maybe I should have said what she said. She said, Prisma has a girlfriend. And she kind of just left it at that, you know? And maybe
to the point.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out all these ways to say it. Maybe I should have just said that. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't regret her saying it. I think it just made it easier. And I think that was a moment for me to know that I have help and it's okay to take it.
Oh,
you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
I also feel like sometimes people's first reactions can be a little jarring. So it's like maybe having that separation was good and not like letting her just handle it. And then they had a minute to process.
Yeah, exactly. The decompression, I think that helped. I do think that helped actually. So yeah, I mean, I think it happened the way it was supposed to happen and I'm grateful for that.
So how was it being at the wedding and around the family for the first time?
I was drunk the whole time, but it was great. I mean, I was having a grand time. I don't know. Obviously, initially, before my parents even got there, we were like freaking out. You know, we're like, fuck. But once they got there, I kind of just felt like this breath of fresh air, you know, and this weight just lifted off of me. And I was just happy to be around family.
Of course.
You know, and I think Talon, like I said, Talon mentioned it, roles switched, you know, now she was kind of like, are people looking at me crazy? And I'm the girlfriend now, you know, she might have felt a little out of pocket, but I was just you know, drinking and having a grand time. So that happened. And there was a moment of like, obviously we have to talk to them. You know, this is the first time I'm seeing them. So we did have a conversation, but it was a very drunk conversation, you know, very emotional. My dad was super emotional, but yeah, I mean, they're as supportive as I could have asked them to be, you know. I've said it numerous times now, like I'm so excited to plan trips to see my family, you know what I mean? It's just a different feeling. But for them to come out here and see, you know, my community and my people, like that might be a little difficult.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How has your relationship with your parents changed or stayed the same? What's hard? What's good?
Because of the distance, I feel like there's just that much more work that has to go into it. So right now we're a little stagnant, and I'm just now starting to realize that I'm going to have to be the initiator. I'm the one that's going to have to open up that door and really ask them questions that maybe I can give them answers to. Like, I know that there's a lot of questions. We were talking about this earlier. There's a lot of questions that they probably don't want to know the answers to. And there's probably a lot of answers that they want that they don't know how to ask those questions, you know? So I feel like it's just going to take a lot of work. I thought that I'd be out and our relationship would, you know, flourish and elevate, but it doesn't work like that, you know? So I feel like I'm going to have to really just go all in.
Yeah. It's hard when you feel like, or I can imagine maybe you feel like you've been the one that's been alone in this and you've had to deal with this and fight with this. And then to have to be the one that has to go even further to bridge that gap has to be hard.
You know, it's crazy. I thought about that today, but I don't feel that way. No. I just feel like I just want that relationship so badly that I don't mind doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to call you and ask you for advice on Talon because she's bothering me today. You know, she's annoying me or something. You know what I mean? Or like any little thing. Or we're going here, so I want to call you and tell you about our great experience that we had. You know, like, I just want to really bridge that gap. Yeah. So I don't mind going the extra mile.
Yeah. I really do feel like sometimes it's just the initial shock. Yeah. And then time.
And then also I think they're also grieving what they thought the life for me looked like in their eyes, you know? So there's like a process.
Totally. And also like who they might have thought you were. Like, I think that one of the hardest things for my parents was like, I thought I knew you or I thought I knew who you were. And I had no idea. And so I think it's also just like the grieving of that. Yeah. And, you know, I never worried about telling my parents. I knew that they would be very accepting. But even with them, who they were, there was a little bit of awkwardness at first. Because there is like they don't know what to call me now. They're like, you know,
right,
like, can I ask this? Like, it's just like everybody has a learning curve. Yeah. And there's just like a little bit, you know, changes friction and there's just a little bit of awkwardness.
And then everybody goes at their own pace. Yeah. You also don't want to rush a question into them or an answer into them if they're not ready to hear it yet. Totally. Because that also causes friction and
I am very happy for you. It was so interesting because I feel like we met you like right before all of this happened. And the first time we did dinner, it was like, I'm not out. And it was this whole thing. And then watching this happen has just been really beautiful. And,
thank you.
And lovely to see. And we love y'all so much.
We love you guys. You guys are great.
Can you tell everybody? Oh, wait, I have to ask about therapy.
Oh, therapy.
I always forget about this.
I'm looking for a therapist.
Are you?
I am. Do you have one?
I actually really do. Yes,
recommend.
I will pass her on. I love her. Sure. So you're looking for a therapist. What are you hoping to work on or working on personally right now, development-wise?
Should we go over the whole list or just let's go over the top. Let's go over my top one. I got one.
The top one.
Yeah, I do. What I'm going to say in therapy, I really want to work on, you know how people say heal your inner child? Yeah. I want to heal my inner teenager, my 16, 17, 18-year-old. And I just want to make sure that she knows that she's good. She's going to be good, that she's not in this alone, that, you know, she's very loved, and we're going to be okay.
Yeah. I love that. I do a lot of like inner child
work,
journaling and work and stuff. And I'll like go to the roof and I'll come down like just bawling, and Matilda will be like, were you working on your inner child?
Is she okay? How's she doing today? That is like, funny. Yes. Honestly.
It's hard work, but it's good work.
Yeah, it's healing tears.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of healing tears.
All right. We play a game.
Let's play it.
You haul or you ghost. Ghost. Okay. She hates subtitles.
I love them. U-Haul.
Wait, you love them, so you're gonna U-Haul?
Yeah, because then that means she hates them, but it's okay. Like, we can
What if she is not going to let you use them? Do you have to watch TV with them?
You go. Ghost. Yeah, no, we have to use them. I can't hear correctly if I don't see you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like kind of whichever way on the subtitles, but I do prefer them.
Yeah.
But like if we're not watching TV with them, I'm not like, oh my God, I have to have them.
I don't know. I just like to be able to see the words and read them and put them to the mouth and everything. Yeah, no, I need them.
Okay,
I need them.
you
Absolutely.
ghost.
You ghost.
Okay, what about if she's a shover? And what I mean by this is like her house is so clean. You walk in and it's perfect. But when you open up any of the drawers,
hell no, you ghost. No, you dirty bitch.
That's not dirty. You think it's dirty?
I think it's messy.
I'm not gonna let her into my nightstand table.
I'm just kidding. You messy though. Come on, do better, love. We can do better.
I think I'm okay with this because I'm more of the person that like it bothers me. Yeah, well, yeah, because it's me. But also, I'm more of like I hate clutter and mess where I can see it.
Yeah, you're putting it under the bed. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean,
so your house is perfectly clean and all your drawers are perfectly clean?
Yes, everything has a spot. I like to be organized.
That's fucking impressive.
Yeah, I think so. I like that.
Oh my God, her favorite magazine is Playboy.
That's okay.
Playboy
Who reads magazines nowadays?
Well, I mean,
if they did.
One, that's the first question.
Okay.
But also, have you seen the Playboy documentary?
No. Should I watch it? And then you ghost?
Hugh Hefner used to fuck dogs.
You lying.
I swear.
That is some crazy work right there. What?
And this is not a conspiracy.
How do you know this is true?
Because they did a documentary.
Where do I find this said documentary?
It's just, he was a really gross man. And he would make all these girls go and do all these things. And then I think it was just like, you know how when your adrenaline levels, like you just have to do more and more and more to like reach, you know, levels. So I think it was like, okay, well, I've done like all these orgies, all these things. And then they introduced like animals and these things.
That is you know, I'm not surprised, honestly. So, what is this on?
Look, I say this. I'm like saying this. Okay, to be fair, I think they have had a rebrand. So to be fair for this girl, we have a friend that shoots for them.
Did y'all do this on purpose? No. You just made it up. Genius work. Good job, y'all. So
I have conflicting feelings about Playboy.
Yeah.
If it's like your favorite magazine, I don't know.
Yeah, the animals thing is just no. That's a you ghost. Good one, because no. But I didn't know that though.
Watch the documentary, it's really good.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I got one more.
Okay.
She has linty toes.
What the fuck is linty toes?
I don't, like lint between your toes. I don't know. I was just trying to.
That's a good one.
But she's a 10 out of 10.
It's fine.
You can get over
U-Haul,
it. Yeah, just take a shower.
Yeah.
Wash your toes.
Also, like, I don't think I would ever be searching her toes for lint.
No, I don't think you'd search for them, but you know, like she leaves lint lying around. Maybe I don't know.
It's like that big of a problem. Maybe. Like there's lint.
10 out of 10 though. 10. You love her. She's great.
Linty toes is so crazy, but yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
I guess it's fine.
Good for you.
I'm like, wait, do I have linty toes? How do you get linty toes?
Dang, I don't know. That's a good one. Dirty socks.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do some Googling.
Yeah, that's gonna take research.
Because it's like maybe if there's a deeper thing to the linty toes, like if it's a hygiene issue, then maybe I'm ghosting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I'll come back with some research.
Yeah, and then maybe you U-Hauled. You got a U-Haul. You're there.
Can you please tell everybody about your podcast?
Yes.
And where to find you?
Of course. The Honey I'm Home Pod on IG. What about it? My girlfriend and I, Talon, you guys know her. We have a podcast and we have our really cool friends come through and just talk, and we talk about life and relationships and careers, and we definitely have to have you on. But yeah, it's a cool podcast. You guys should check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you again for being here. I absolutely love you.
Love you so much. And thank you for giving us all such a safe space. I'm grateful.
This episode is supported by ZocDoc. There are some things in life that are totally okay to be a crapshoot, like trying a new milk in your coffee or a cheap Instagram ad impulse buy. But finding the right doctor should never be a crapshoot. And with ZocDoc, it's not, because you've got more options than you even know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click instantly to book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/made to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/made. ZocDoc.com/made. Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. As always, help us spread the gay agenda by writing an Apple review, rating us on Spotify, and sharing it with everyone you've ever met. Made It Out is produced and edited by Matilde Jordan and worked on solely by lesbians.
You drive the U-Haul and I'll drive the Subaru. Meet you there at 8.